Hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock by Request, where it's a review of the movie Don't Go in the Woods Alone. And this request comes to us from fellow YouTuber Killer Nerd 75. This is the story of four friends who decide to go into the woods, but not alone, together, of course. And they're being stalked by some guy in the forest who is given the name the Wild Man. Yeah. The names of these friends are Peter, Joanne, Ingrid, and Craig. For some unknown reason, they just want to go on a camping trip. And as you would expect, people are dying all around them. Who are these people that are dying? We don't know. They just die at random. They show up on screen for maybe a minute or two and then dead. The Wild Man, of course, has some traps set up for certain people, and other people he just goes up behind them or in front of them and just stabs them, decapitates them, the whole 9 yards. There's a little bit of a background story on him, but you just don't even care to even pay attention. And he lives in a shack that makes the shack of Jason Voorhees look like a mansion. So after going on a killing spree of killing 2 of our 4 people, and again, random people whose names you barely even know, much less remember, it's up to Peter and Ingrid to take out the madman because, well, Ingrid winds up in the hospital and somehow gets out of there after going in there after being almost killed. And Peter goes back in there because Joanne was left there, but of course the Wild Man gets her. They go to his shack, find dead bodies everywhere, decide it's time for revenge. So one of them gets the Wild Man on the shoulder with a stick by stabbing him. They think the nightmare is over, but it's not. The Wild Man gets back up, and that's when Peter and Ingrid continuously stab him in the chest with a stick and a machete just laying around for no apparent reason. And while they're doing all this, the search party that went out there to try and find the Wild Man and Peter and Ingrid and whoever might still be alive watch on in shock. And then they look at the search party, and then they decide, screw it, we're not going to do anything to him. They kill the Wild Man. Everything's good. And by the end of the movie, this little girl that was apparently kidnapped by the Wild Man who killed this painter is seen with a hatchet just driving it into the ground, I guess indicating that she is going to be the new forest killer. Which, luckily, I don't think there was a sequel to this one, so thank God for that. Why did this movie suck? There was dubbing. There were people getting killed off left and right, and you barely even know who they were. In fact, one of the first kills of the movie has this woman running. You don't even know what happens to her. She falls down twice. You don't even see if she lives or dies, but you have to presume she gets killed off. One of the Wild Man's victims is stabbed, and then his body is thrown onto these rocks next to these people that are splashing around in the river. They don't even notice. And again, random people getting killed off. You don't even know who they are. That woman you see there in the poster, she's the painter, and she's only on screen for maybe a few minutes, and she gets stabbed in the back repeatedly by the Wild Man, while her daughter gets kidnapped. And that's the kid I mentioned earlier was the one who was playing with a hatchet. I hope and pray to God that thing wasn't real. So many deaths in this movie. There's a guy in a wheelchair who gets decapitated, and we don't even know what his story was. All these people are just getting killed off, and it's just, you don't even know hardly who they are. They get randomly killed off. There's one point of the movie where I believe it was Peter sees this one guy just walking along, gets some sort of steel trap slammed to his face, and Peter just sits there and watches the whole thing happen, does nothing, and then he gets up and emotes, screams, runs away, and goes, no, and Yeah, this movie's all around stupid. It's just, again, random kills, people you barely even know, bad dubbing. Not a lot of gore in this one. This movie is a complete waste of time. It's less than an hour and a half long. Avoid it if you can. It's really, really bad, folks. It's just god-awful. But special thanks to fellow YouTuber Killer Nerd 75 for his request. Please go check out his channel. Check out his videos, and if you like, subscribe to him as well. And if you like my videos, feel free to subscribe if you have a horror, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, or fantasy horror movie that tried to give you the best advice it could, but you watched it anyway. Send it my way, and I'll get on it ASAP. Thanks you guys so very, very much for watching, and until next time, for Doc Schlock, by request, as always, stay strong and rock on, and don't watch any of these really crappy movies alone.